Hey, how's it going YouTube? This is your boy Chosen and welcome to today's discussion video. And today, as you can all clearly see by the title of the video, we are going to be discussing Kawaki's predestined fate. I don't want people to get the wrong idea and think that I'm only going to be talking about his karma seal, because I mean, based off of the first episode, that would just be a waste of both our times. So I believe last month, if I'm not mistaken, I made a video basically discussing how the moral of Boruto's story is going to be escaping one's predestined fate, and if that's a possibility with Boruto, you know, seeing as how his dark future has been foreshadowed multiple times. And I mean, at this point, we know how these shows go with typical shonens like Naruto and Boruto. To properly convey the message of the show, the hero has to always achieve their goal by managing to find solutions to dilemmas and unanswered questions the real world struggles to find. So I wouldn't be surprised if at the end, Boruto does end up escaping his fate seen by Toneri and Momoshiki. But for Kawaki, it could be a different story. See, with Naruto, almost every time he faced a major villain, they had similar goal points but different ways of going about it. Pain and Naruto had the same goal of peace, but different executions. Naruto wanted to achieve peace through less violent means, basically a pacifist. But with Pain, this idea of achieving peace through friendship was a naive way of looking at it. He believed to truly end the cycle of hatred, everyone had to experience the same kind of pain. And only then can everyone truly understand each other and true peace can be achieved. Same goal, different approach. The same thing could be said with Naruto and Obito. Both Naruto and Obito wanted to be Hokage and end all unnecessary suffering in the shinobi world. Obito went about this through the infinite Tsukiyomi, whereas Naruto wanted to achieve this in reality, with everyone working together. Now that you guys understand the point I'm trying to make, with this same idea, this is definitely a possibility the direction Boruto and Kawaki's story could go. So a couple days ago, I brought upon a theory that Sakura and Tsunade's byakugou seal could be the key to not necessarily ridding of the karma seal, but essentially stopping the process. Would still explain how Boruto still has his karma seal and is conscious, despite the process being about 80% complete when he was like 12. That would explain how both are still fully conscious, and we know Kawaki will eventually receive back the karma seal Amato took away from him. Meaning, if this theory were to come true and what takes place in the beginning of the episode really isn't some misdirection to throw us off, to think that Boruto was the hero but it was actually the opposite, then that would mean Kawaki himself really did destroy the village, whether he had help or not, and potentially rather killed Naruto or sent him away somewhere else. If this is the case, well, one of the questions we would all wonder is what led Kawaki to this point. Because the way it looks right now in the manga, he's a more hopeful and brighter kid than we saw at the beginning. Why the sudden change to destroy the village? Well, like every Boruto YouTuber who makes theory videos, more times we don't exactly have the direct answer to what takes place years later in the story. Anything can happen in between. So I don't know exactly what Teen Kawaki's philosophy is, but I imagine that, like I mentioned earlier, whatever it is, he's going to eventually share a similar end goal to Boruto. I doubt Kawaki destroying the Leaf Village is due to him being a sick, twisted mass murderer who just thrills off of killing. Obviously, I think there is going to be a legitimate reasoning for it, like how with Pain. I mean, for majority of what Pain was saying, he wasn't wrong. Actually, the issue he was trying to solve very much resembles the problems we face today in the real world. That's one of the coolest parts about Naruto, how they tie in real world dilemmas and figure out a way to solve them, like a lot of stories do, to be fair. The one thing we can point out, however, is the infamous line both Boruto and Kawaki say, and that's how the age of shinobi is over. This claim has been touched and hinted on a few times. We saw it when Naruto and Sasuke were talking about changing times and how the shinobi way is different and more evolved, especially with the introduction of ninja tools. And we also just literally saw it with Ao in the anime. He goes on to basically say the same line as them, how the old way of shinobi is over and it's time for a new age to accept new power. Whatever Kawaki's philosophy is, he's clearly against the old age. I don't get what killing everyone at the Leaf has to do with it, but like I said, it's still way too early to rightfully say anything about it. I do though think that he will unfortunately suffer another traumatic event that will cause him major grief and depression, and just like a lot of villains, will come up with a solution that is for the greater good, but the wrong way of going about it. This could also cause him to believe that his fate was determined since the beginning and that he could never escape it and live a normal life like Lord Seven wanted him to. Now, as far as the karma seal, because there's no way I'm going to make a video like this about Kawaki's inevitable fate and not bring up the seal. Yes, I know he does end up receiving it again, like we clearly see in episode 1, but to be honest, even if we didn't get that scene, it was still fairly obvious as it's been hinted at multiple times. The biggest hint of this we see is Amato possibly foreshadowing Kawaki's future, that one day the karma seal, which we know, will return to him. But to be honest, I think this could be willingly. For whatever reason Kawaki decides to turn against the world, why he suddenly despises the old way of shinobi, to successfully follow through with whatever plan he has, he's gonna need power. Amato literally said, is it powerlessness that's irritating you or grief over losing the karma seal? As we know with any kind of storytelling, whenever anything gets emphasized, it always comes back later on in the story in some kind of way. So to recap, I think Kawaki and Boruto's future karma seals could be delayed due to Sakura's byakugou, meaning it was Kawaki, fully conscious, who attacks Konoha, most likely due to a future traumatic accident that changes his viewpoint on the world. He also willingly chose to receive back the seal in order to make sure whatever plan he has follows through. Essentially, Kawaki and Boruto could be both trying to achieve the same thing. Kawaki could also believe that his fate was set from the moment he was born, and Boruto is the one who, of course, disagrees with this, like we saw in the Jugo arc, where he believes the logic behind predestined fate is stupid, and that with enough effort and willpower, anyone can change their path. Of course, I could be wrong. It's tough to theorize on where the story is going to be years from now, but honestly, I kind of like this one. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it down below in the comments, and if you have your own theory on what leads up to the beginning scene in the first episode, be sure to let me know. This has been your boy Chosen, and I'll catch you on the next one.